Do you know what day it is today? April 1st? Yes, it
is! So, what is an ideal relation, or what kind of relationship should a teacher have with their students? This is a very controversial topic because a lot of people may argue that you should always stay authoritative, and then a lot of people may argue that you should become more open. But to what extent is this okay? Is this acceptable to our society and actually our schools? It's a really hard topic, and I think it's something that definitely is my philosophy, is that we need to have a strong connection and relationship with our students. But what does it mean to have a strong relationship and connection? Does it mean to get personal, or does it mean to create this guide or guidance for our students so that our students can feel comfortable in the environment that they are in? So that we as teachers can not only be the authoritative figure, but we can also be their guidance, which is usually the best thing to do, since when we're at that age where we kind of don't know what we want, some of us rely on teachers to actually help us. Without them knowing, they can make a difference in our lives. And I feel that teachers have that great responsibility of making a difference in students' lives.
This is a really difficult question. A lot of it depends on what kind of teacher you are, and obviously the goal is how can you relate to your students in a positive way. It's going to be different for every teacher. I think a lot of the strategy is finding something that works for you and then trying to keep it consistent. But adjusting to students' individual needs is also important. This is a very difficult question.
So, I believe that teachers and students should have a pretty strong relationship with each other. I mean, teachers are almost like second parents. That's where students spend the other half of their day. But there is a point to where the teacher has to remain professional. So a lot of things have to be very engaged and very accepting and familial, but it can't pass that boundary. And I think some of the boundary is like, don't, invite them over to your house or do like one-on-one activities. It's a little pushing it. But other than that, I think it should be very, very much like another loving family.
An offering that's intended to target students with special needs. Mm-hmm. Specifically this fall, we are targeting students with autism spectrum disorders.
How can music really enhance their lives and help them?
Well, students with autism especially, but generally students with special needs, need an alternative way to express themselves. They can't typically have a conversation like we're having right now. Mm-hmm. So music can provide a way for them to express what they're thinking or feeling without using words.
When I was in the 6th grade, I hadn't joined chorus, and I was eating lunch, and I was walking by the table, and I heard this horrible voice from behind me, and she said, "I'm mad at you." And I said, "What did I do?" And she came up to me, I had no idea who she was, and she said, "You didn't join chorus." And so I said, "Well, I was in chorus in the 5th grade, I wanted to try something new." She said, "Well, you better promise me that you'll join in the 7th grade. And I did. I joined in the 7th grade, and my teacher was just the most dynamic, charismatic, good teacher that I've ever had in my life, and we're still friends today. So I think that says something about our relationship.
So in conclusion to all this, my summary would definitely be that teachers need to have a connection with their students. It's necessary. The level of connection doesn't necessarily need to be personal. It doesn't need to go deeper. It just needs to be support. Support in which students can be confident and feel confident in the environment that they are in. Especially in special ed cases. Music is an all-inclusive department in which every student gets to participate. And it's very meaningful to students who are isolated from mainstream or from many different kinds of programs to come in to a class where they're surrounded by people, and it's not usually the same people with the same condition. It's different people with different opinions, with different ways of viewing life. And the fact that, first of all, special ed students get to be in this is important to them. But then as teachers, we should know that it is important for them to also have that connection with the teacher. And I know from my experience, I was a special ed student, and I remember I used to go into some classrooms and teachers would just literally freak out. They didn't know what to do. I mean, and to me that's very disrespectful. That's very disrespectful to the student. It's just very disrespectful, and it really does harm your confidence and your comfort level in the classroom. And that's something that one of the reasons why I want to be a music ed major is because I feel that, first of all, music just helps you heal in so many ways. I feel that it helps you heal. It helps you feel special. And second of all, I feel that as music teachers, we should have this connection with any type of student, like my teacher had it in my case. She never knew exactly what was going on in my personal life, but because of my condition, she knew that I wasn't going through very easy times. So she knew that I needed it. She knew that I needed to get up there. She knew that I needed to sing in order to heal. And she didn't talk to me about it. She never clarified what she felt about the situation. She never even showed a sign of special ed, what do I do? I mean, there was never that question in her mind, or at least in her physical expression. There was just never that question. But she knew that this was a place for me to heal. And that makes a big difference in a student's life, believe it or not. It makes a difference. Sometimes teachers that go by the book don't realize that they are their students' role models. I mean, believe it or not, as immature as students can be, when we go out to college, when we as students come here, all we think about is, who is your number one inspiration? My number one inspiration is my teacher, my music teacher. And I believe that that's something a factor with all subjects. But everybody, you can ask most of the students, what was your inspiration? Especially the ed students. Who was your inspiration? And they will answer you, my teacher.